Welcome back, everybody. This is Bora for my 8th and final video in this series of reviewing Naxx Speed Tech. Now, this won't be the last video that I do. There's a ton more to talk about with respect to speedrunning. I'll actually do a full playthrough of the OK Booner, which is the guild that I raid lead, our Horde Naxx speedrun record, which is 44:55. I'll talk you through all this tech again. I'll talk about the little things that we do to save time here and there as well. There's still a ton to talk about. However, I just want to get through all of the the major speed tech. This is the funnest piece of tech you will ever see in Classic Era. I hope everybody has an opportunity to do this at one point in time. This is called Sapph Polarity. Setup is hard. Does it require a Petri? The entire raid requires a Petri. So I've talked in my prior videos about how you can only have 5 Petris in combat. Now, these Petris will be used out of combat, so it's not going to ding you for valid logs. You will be able to pull this off. I did see that there's actually a Warcraft logs poll to remove Sapph Polarity or something like that. I cannot for the life of me, going to Anniversary, I can't for the life of me understand why that would be voted yes. That would be highly cringe. This is the best tech in the game. Saves about 45 seconds. Could be more, could be less. I don't know. But we'll talk about all the things that go into this. I've highlighted NG required because if anything requires the entire raid to have NG, it is this piece of tech. Okay, you need everybody to be throwing dummies on this fight. Okay, so one very important thing to note: this fight starts on Thaddeus. The setup for a good Sapph Polarity starts on Thaddeus. Moreover, it actually starts a little earlier on Thaddeus because everybody needs to have a potion available, potion cooldown available for Sapph Polarity. So once you engage Stalag and Fugan, that is bar none, that is your last opportunity to use potion 1 or potion 2. Okay, so anything that requires, that shares a cooldown with Masterwork Target Dummy, you can't use on this fight. So don't use any potions or potion 2 going into this fight. Also, for Horde, you need to start Thaddeus with your Fetish or Eye of Dim on. Obviously, for Brain Dead Alliance players, you guys just have Salve and you don't have to worry about mechanics or anything like that. So that's all good. So the whole setup for all of this starts on Thaddeus, and you really, really need to have a clean Thaddeus, okay? So I'm actually going to show probably 2 examples of this, but I'll talk your way through this. Okay, so the way that we do this, and I think most guilds that do Sapph Polarity do it like this. You see my star marker here, that's my main tank, and they are going to start on the positive side, which is Portal. Oops. And they're going to move the boss actually towards the portal. And you just want to, like, literally anything you can do to extend your runway to kill this boss, because it is the ultimate DPS check of all of this stuff. Like, it is literally a full raid wipe if you don't make this DPS check. And so here we go. So you, in this first phase, you really just want to be paying attention first and foremost to the marks. That is the most important thing. I don't know why this keeps happening. Very important that your raid is paying attention to their polarity markers. So Thaddeus will give either a negative charge or a positive charge. When you have all of your charges together, you get a massive damage buff. So the more of your similar charge that you're near, the more damage you're doing. That's why you're doing massive damage on Thaddeus. Conversely, if a negative and a positive touch, you blow up. So they're going to die if you blow up. So the first thing that you need to do in this fight is make sure that you're executing properly on the Thaddeus mechanics. The second thing that you're going to want to do, you need a fresh polarity charge to go into Sapph. So if this is going to be your first time trying Sapph Polarity, do not rush the transition from Thaddeus to Sapph. I cannot stress that enough. You need a full polarity charge, so don't rush it. In this case, this is our world record attempt, or this is one of our record attempts. This actually isn't our record run, but we have a very clean Sapph Polarity here. So the call that I make here is everybody pump until the boss is at 5%. Healers need to heal through everything. Everybody pump until the boss is at 5%. Once the boss reaches 5%, my group 2, my TSA group, is going to get the boss down to 1%. So the reason that we do that is, again, you do so much damage. Like each execute here is 16,000 damage, or thereabouts, right? So you don't want to have like a bunch of warriors execute at the same time and you accidentally kill the boss. Obviously, then you can't do the the future tech here. So we're all pumping here, and we're going to get the boss to 5%. I'm going to call hands off keyboard. Okay, so everybody's hit escape except for my group 2. My group 2 is continuing on the boss. You can see here my boss is at 1%. Perfect. Okay, a new polarity charge is coming out right now. The first thing you need to do, identify which charge you have and get to the appropriate side. So positives portal side and negatives on the left here. So this is what we would call resolving your polarity. I don't even know if that makes sense, but it is what it is. So resolve your polarity. Everybody's swapping to their sides. Boom. Okay. So the boss is now dead. And then, so that's the second call. Resolve your polarity, kill the boss. You want the boss dead as quickly as possible. And you see in the top right of my screen, I have 56 seconds left on my polarity charge. Whenever you get a new charge, it lasts for 60 seconds. So Sapph needs to be dead before this timer hits 0. Sapph also takes a very long time to spawn in the room. So and the setup takes a little bit of time, the travel time. So it's actually not as generous of a time window as you think. So now, as the raid leader, I'm calling positives through. So my positives gone through. Now I'm calling 3, 2, 1 negatives through. Okay, so very important couple things here. So if you're thinking about Sapp's little ring here, like a clock, my positive charges are going to be at 3 o'clock, negative are going to be at 6 o'clock. Because we're Horde and we actually have to try at this game, we have totems. My positive side shaman are going to meet in the middle of 6 and 3, and they're going to drop their totems. And then they're going to clear out and join their stack. Then my negative stack, which is the 6 o'clock, those shaman are going to go in the middle there. You can see, okay, cool. Like you can see my shaman clearing out here. They're making room for my negative shaman to come in. They're dropping their totems. Obviously, the reason being, just because you're a negative shaman does not mean that your party is negative. So you want them to all have Wind Fury. Again, this is the the ultimate DPS check in the game. You want to make sure that your melee have Wind Fury. Of note, I also said that you need to start the Thaddeus fight with your fetish on. If you wait, then your 30-second trinket swap cooldown won't be done, and you won't be able to have fetish or Eye of Dim or whatever. For us Horde players who have to worry about threat, whatever trinket you use, you want on for the Thaddeus fight. Okay, so now we're getting into our stacks. We've marked 2 people here, one with a star, one with a triangle. Those are just our markers, okay? So everybody needs to be behind the tank, and on the other side, we just mark somebody's triangle, just so we have a nice tight stack here. It's important that cloth are towards the back of the stack, okay? So, and it's also of note here that nobody is wearing any frost res whatsoever. We are just going balls to the walls, finishing this boss. You can see now my polarity timer is down to 34 seconds. And just to be clear, the fastest Sapph polarity kill is either 16 or 17 seconds. We have multiple kills of 17 seconds. So just to give you context of how quickly this fight happens, you don't need Death Wish. Death Wish, you definitely pre-pop. So now as the raid leader, I'm calling stacking tight behind your markers and get cloth to the back. And now I'm calling Death Wish and Fetish. And again, because we're Horde and we have to pay attention, you really, really want to use Fetish here. If you don't have Fetish, this tech becomes very hard on Horde. And what you really want to have all your warriors do is just open with a Sunder before they get into BTing. Like ultimately, if you have some people with Fetish and some people without, you can have the people without Fetish just start off the rip, and the other people maybe you Sunder or wait a second or whatever, but you catch up very quickly because you are going to be using Recklessness on your fight, and your tank is not. Your tank can't wreck this. They ultimately probably need to shield wall, but more specifically, they're not using Recklessness because Sapph absolutely cracks. So now we're tight behind our stacks here, and I've called for Death Wish and Fetish. So you want to start those things before the boss even starts. Okay, here now we're just waiting for Sapph. Sapph has a spawn window. This is one of the most annoying things because again, my polarity charge is ticking down. Now I have 20, what does that say? 28 seconds. Okay, here we go. Still waiting. Okay, Sapph is now spawned. Nobody can have used a potion or you're going to die. So basically the only Sapph mechanic that, obviously Blizzard is a mechanic of Sapph that you have to worry about. But the other thing they have to worry about is Sapp's cleave. So obviously there's a bunch of people right in behind the tank and they're going to get cleaved. Sapph cannot cleave for the first 6 seconds of the fight. After 6 seconds, it's not like he's going to cleave immediately at 6 seconds. A window opens whereby he can cleave. So at 6 seconds, you can see this weak aura right in the middle of my screen. At 6 seconds, there's a tank side lip call. So if you're tank side, whether you're a healer, caster, or melee, you need to lip here, okay? So now you can see the weak aura ticking down, and I call tank side lip. You can see all of... Interesting. Okay, sorry about that. Now, spoiler alert, we kill the boss. Okay, so I'm calling tank side lip. You can see all these lips light up on my raid frames. Everybody with a white border has used a lip, and nobody dies. Okay, now you see a second thing counting down in the middle of the screen, and that's target dummy. You're gonna want to throw target. I have some got an itchy nose. Sorry. There's everybody is gonna want to throw a target dummy, whether you're on the tank side or the caster side, or sorry, the non-tank side. Reason being, the dummy serves two purposes. One, it will soak cleave. So the 6 second window happened, you popped lip, and sometime after that, Sapph used cleave and you survived because you were lipped. Now at 12 seconds, the next Sapph cleave window is going to open. So how do you avoid that one? Now you're going to use target dummies. So your target dummies are going to save you from getting cleaved. The reason that you still use them on the non-tank side is because, again, they serve two purposes. So one, they'll soak the cleave. Two, they can actually soak curses. And it's really nice if they soak those curses because they actually don't take any damage and Sapph doesn't heal any at all. So I'm just going to play through this here. And so, this series is kind of getting embarrassing because it seems like every clip that I do, I make some egregious mistake. Instead of dropping a target dummy, I actually tried trading a target dummy to one of my friends here. Don't do that. Drop a target dummy in front of you. And again, you really want it to be in front of you. And now I'm just calling finish the boss.
Get away.
And so we finish the boss. Okay, and now is where the in-game, it's going to show that I'm still in combat because that Blizzard is still on the ground. But by Warcraft Log's definition, we are no longer in combat. You can see that I have 6 seconds left on my polarity charge, and I have 19 polarity charges near me. You can survive 2, maybe 3. If you have 4, you're dead. In fact, you're all dead. All 4 of you are dead. So it's very important that you spread out and you petri. You might not need to. In this scenario, I have 6 seconds to spread out. I find a comfy spot where I'm all by myself and I don't need to petri. However, I'm well seasoned at this and I knew that I didn't have to petri. If you are in a speed run and you die because you greeted a petri, that is a cardinal sin in a speed run. Don't do that. Don't be greedy. Use a petri. Even if you see 2 people petried, and you think, oh, well, I don't need to petri then, you will still take damage from their charge dissipating and you will die. Don't do that. Use a petri. Okay, so we're going to watch that back, and I'm going to talk about a couple of things here. So one, if the cleave window's open and somebody on the non-tank side rips threat, you really want the non-tank side to then use a lip. Like, basically, the way that I do this fight, some other people, if they're non-tank side, they say, fuck it, I'm using an MRP, and they use an MRP, and they crank, and they do a bunch of damage. Good for them. I personally, because, especially on Horde, because threat is such a worrisome mechanic, if the dragon turns towards me, I'm lipping. That's how I treat this fight. And I recommend that you guys, especially if you're going to be new to this tech, you can see here, look at my threat meter. My tank is kind of off to the races. She's 31k, 16k, 20. But everybody in my raid is a fetish. I don't don't have it pulled up, but I have a VOD where I'm 18k threat behind the main tank, and I pass her within like less than a second. Like literally one global, I win Fury crit, I BT crit, and I pass on threat. So that's how worrisome the threat mechanic is here, and that was before I had a fetish. So I personally, if I'm non-tank side, I still am holding my pot cooldown and I'm waiting to see if that dragon turns towards me. Otherwise, like I said, if you feel comfortable doing it, or if you don't think threat is going to be an issue, then you, by all means, can use a MRP on the non-tank side. You're still going to want to throw that target timing. The other thing, the reason that you want the cloth in the back is Sapph actually is like a chain cleave. So it'll cleave off the tank and it'll like ripple through, the things that are kind of closest to it, which is why you want tank and then dummies and then everybody kind of behind that line of dummies. You want the chain cleave to go through that tank and dissipate through the dummies and have you not get hit by it. Melee might be able to survive a cleave. I've seen it happen a number of times, but casters won't survive the cleave. So that is the Sapph Polarity. And again, I really hope you get to try this tech. I'm just going to show it in full motion so you can just see how fast it all comes together. I'll make my raid calls, Death Wish, Fetish Now, Titan behind your stacks. BT, Wreck, Tank Side Lip, Everybody dummy. Finish the boss. Get away. So those are the raid calls. Okay, so it happens very quickly. It looks easy. I guarantee if you do it the first time, somebody will probably fuck it up, but that's okay. Like, I mean, don't get discouraged. Once you start figuring this out, like it becomes very easy. I'm just gonna quickly show you now so the actual record run that we did, we actually had a bit of a disaster on Sapph Polarity. So we actually lost almost a minute on our record time, which is very, very unfortunate. We'll just show you what that disaster is. And that disaster is a very, very bad blizzard, okay? So something happened when SOD released Naxx, and a couple of mechanics have changed in era. So you might have noticed during the AQ phase that popcorn, like the little bubbly rocks on Oro, do giga damage. That stuff used to be easily, you would just sit in it and it would do damage, but you could be pretty comfortable, maybe pop a GMPP. If you sit in that Oro popcorn now, you get crushed. Something happened. It's not the damage that does the density. Like, it's like you're getting like basically double hit, because if I look at logs from before, I see the same amount of per instance damage going out is the same, but just the frequency at which you're taking damage is much higher. The same thing has happened with Blizzard on Sapph. So if you haven't played Era or you haven't done Naxx in a very long time, you're in for a rude awakening, because I'm telling you, the Sapph Blizzard mechanic got a lot less comfortable. So that absolutely sucks about this. And so I'll just play this here. It's a quick Polarity fight. We were actually down a person. We lost our tank on Thaddeus. That kind of sucked. Here we go, though. We're just doing the fight. And again, we're Death Wish. We're second global wreck. This is a tank side lip. You see all these people lipping. And you're about to see a tank side Blizzard, okay? So what my tank does, her approach is, I see a tank side Blizzard, I shield wall, and I just fucking stand there. And I just eat it. And then that allows for the rest of the raid to start kind of backpedaling and moving to the right. She's found that if she starts to try to move from the Blizzard, that things get disastrous. So she's made the decision, I'm just going to shield wall and I'm going to eat this. But you can see how fast my raid starts dying from this Blizzard. So, like, look at that. Like, they're just getting chunked, like they're just dead. Like, this Blizzard was really bad. And they just, like, a lot of them tried to move away from it and all that kind of stuff and just weren't able to do it. So nonetheless, we're able to finish up the fight. You'll see here, there's 4 seconds left. In this instance, I do use a Petri because there was too many people around me. And, the charges dissipate. Boom, I click off my Petri and on we go onto KT. Unfortunately, we had a lot of reses to go out. So, again, this really hampered our time. Nonetheless, this is still our record run. and we're going into KT with 21 minutes left on our rent. So this was a great run. Hopefully you guys enjoyed the whole tech series. I'm going to keep posting videos. It's not the end of my YouTube journey. I'll be back. I'll be posting. Again, I'm going to post a full review of our record run, the Horde record that we did just 2 Sundays ago. I'll do a full commentary over that run. We'll probably talk about a lot of the same stuff, but it's nice to just see it all kind of strung together. And I'll probably I'll be playing regrettably I'll be playing Alliance on Fresh. I'll be doing speed runs. I'll be doing the Race to World First on Thursday. I'll also be streaming. I'm going to link my we'll call it my socials or whatever, just my Discord and my Twitch in the comments. If you want to speed run with me, drop me a note on Discord. I'll be as active as I can there. But moreover, if you want to just keep watching this speedrun journey through Anniversary, I'll be doing raid reviews of of the top raids. So like the likely candidates like Eternal and Five Sunders Please, Youth, and Progress, and hopefully my guild, Crit Crush. We have very very experienced people, and a lot of people in this raid playing Alliance. So I'll be engaged still in Anniversary, and I'll be doing a lot of content. So this is not end of the road for me. This is the end of the tech series. There were a couple of things that I didn't cover that I'll probably wrap up in another video. I'll also probably do another video on like Warcraft law requirements and like little ticky-tack shit that you can do here and there, speed items and stuff like that I didn't really touch on. I can also do probably a video on tech that we don't do and that isn't commonly done anymore. There's actually a piece of tech that we're going to be doing in my era run on Sunday that I can showcase as well. That's just it is a Petri tech, so it uses one of the 5. So basically, my raid is to choose between the stable boom and the tech the new tech that we're doing. So I can showcase that as well. But all that to say, this is not the end of my YouTubing. I'll be back with more content. Hopefully, you all enjoyed it. And again, feel free to reach out to me, comments on Discord. I am more than happy to answer any questions. I'm a huge speedrun nerd, and I will geek out with you over any of this stuff. So please drop me a line, and I'll see you all in the next video. Cheers.